Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and giving double honors to the apostles, bishops, and others of great millstone. And may peace be bestowed unto you, hopeful elect. I'm your brother Yahweh Call from Great Millstone, Orlando. And I want to start off with this here in 2 Timothy 1:7. In the AMP, it says, "For God did not give us a spirit of timidity or cowardness or fear, but he has given us a spirit of power and of love and of sound judgment and personal discipline, abilities that result in a calm, well-balanced mind and self-control." All right. Again, that was 1 Timothy or Salakia, 2 Timothy 1:7 and the AMP. All right. And I wanted to start off with that before I play this video here by Canadian Prepper, which I'm not making any type of monetary gain off of this video. All right. This is just strictly for informational purposes, so fair use. But again, because it's going to take a certain type of spirit of guidance, or just overall, divine intervention from Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai with what's coming out here and how bad it's going to get. The Spirit of the Lord is really going to have to be on us to be able to navigate. All right. A certain type of spirit, which a lot of these preppers, these guys that are stacking up on gold, guns, ammo, and so on and so forth, because they can pretty much see the writing on the wall. But with all that being said, none of these riches, wealth, none of these things are going to save anyone from Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai's judgment. All right. You can prepare, prep all you want. But still, everyone has a plan A through Z until the Lord shows up, So that's why, Lord willing, to those of us, the hopeful elect, the scriptures say we walk by faith, not by sight. Because again, you can have plans A through Z, but the Lord's agenda could be different. The Lord might have other plans for you. We don't know if we're going to be on a run. Some brothers might get the opportunity in basically staying wherever they're at as far as their living situation. But of course, again, some brothers are going to be on the move, living off the grid. Some brothers are going to be in a concentration camp. At the end of the day, we don't know. So again, that's why the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, definitely a spirit of guidance, cool, calm, and collectiveness when shit hits the fan, is going to be very important. All right. But without further ado, I'm going to play this video.
How do I do a video like this without patronizing my viewers? and coming off as being tone deaf to the difficulties that people are going through. Here's the thing. Hard times are coming, and it's going to get worse. The world is in turmoil, and it's not getting any better anytime soon. And that's a reality that we're all going to be faced with, regardless of our starting point in life. Now, as a person who grew up incredibly poor, it is still perhaps inappropriate for me to come on here today and say money doesn't matter. And that's not what I'm saying, okay? But I want to have this heart-to-heart pep talk from a person who is forever poor, in the sense that, as a person who grew up poor in the truest sense of having to steal food in order to survive, as much as it was a treacherous experience, it was something I would never have any other way. Now, you see all this crap behind me, right? This is, one person could probably survive for the rest of their life, okay? More than that. You could feed an army. This is just one aisle in our warehouse. The stuff is what most Westerners in particular look at when they're thinking about long-term survival. And it's easy for me to say this, and I know people are going to think, oh yeah, well, you have all this, and it's true, right? Which is why I'm being sympathetic to the fact that if you're not in a position where you have the material base covered, that it's going to be difficult to relate to this point of view. But just hear me out. As a person who's truly been there, which is not to diminish your situation that you're struggling with right now, I can tell you that the most important thing, and the reason why I call this crap behind me, is because I know at the end of the day, when it all comes down to it, there's 5 things that are going to matter more than any of this stuff. And this is going to sound pedantic, and I'm going to be at risk of using all kinds of truisms in this video, but these are the cornerstones of preparedness. The first and foremost thing that nobody wants to talk about, that's your body. If you can't move in a moment's notice, you're going to die. The second thing is your intellect, your acumen, your knowledge. You don't have to have a high IQ. You just have to have the knowledge that you need in order to survive. Third, and perhaps the most important, especially in an acute crisis, is your ability to manage your parasympathetic nervous system, your emotions, your stress control. You know, at the end of the day, when it comes down to surviving long-term off-grid, there's going to be a series of nodal events that unfold. And for the most part, it's just going to be living day to day, tending to the garden, butchering the meat, trying to survive. But there's going to be those key points where you're faced with a stressful life or death, fight or flight situation. The other thing is community. The most important thing is community. And the more I have this shit, the more shit I accumulate, the more I realize that people are the only thing that matters. That's the 4 things. Now, if you're spiritual, then I guess that's going to be number 5. Never, ever have I met a poor person who had a lot of children. Never. You might be saying, wait a minute, I'm poor and I have a lot of children. You're financially poor, but you're not poor. No, I get emotional when I talk about this because I know people who are just making ends meet, living hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck, struggling. And I see the conditions that their children live in, and I envy that for their children. Their children are going to be tough. Their children are going to be hungry for more. The best gift you can give your child is struggle. I want my kids to struggle. I want them to have it tough. I want them to have that fire, that hunger inside them that drives a person day after day, unrelentingly, marching forward, non-stop. You can't teach that to a person. You can't.
And overall, essentially, this is how Yahweh Shema Shai is dealing with his hopeful elect. This is why it seems like you hopefully elect brothers. It seems like you can't catch a break. It's always something, Hey, the Lord, he's keeping that fire in us because brothers are so numb to the point. If you're not by now, you will get to that point where you're so fed up with this place. I always say the only tears that we're going to be crying when this place finally falls, when this place finally collapses, the only tears that we're going to be crying is tears of joy. Because listen, and again, especially if you're newer in the faith, it can be nerve-wracking, especially, brothers that have families, wives, children, which he mentions, and that's why I want to play this video. As far as your body, our bodies, and this is why our apostles and the elders, they stress, get into health, which the scriptures talk about that, health being wealth, because listen, I'm going to say it like this. I don't depend on, my woman, someone's trying to break into the house or whatever the case may be, and, for the most part, a lot of these women, not all of them, but a lot of these women, they want to play the tough act, because I believe all women in some way, shape, form, or fashion, they still have this feminine, feminism type of attitude, way of thinking. Now, like I said, it might not be as bad as a lot of these bitches that are going to get destroyed. And as a matter of fact, I probably should start using that word because, a bitch, which is a female dog, dogs are faithful, you know. So maybe I should stop using that reference. But yeah, a lot of these so-called women, hardcore feminists, and I don't need a man and this and that, majority of them are gonna die, just to be frank with it. But like I said, I believe a lot of women in some way, shape, form, and fashion still have this feminism type of, attitude. It might not be as hardcore, but this tough act that these women play. Well, all that shit's going to go out the window. And like I said, I don't depend on, my woman. If someone's trying to break into the house, someone's trying to rob us or whatever, I don't expect her to play Captain Save-A-Ho. I don't expect her to save the day. I expect her to revert back to her immediate estate and being a spoil, being a possession and depending on a man, which that's what typically happens. Any sign of trouble, a woman, she reverts back to her natural state, So with that being said, this is why, it's important for us, especially for us men, to have to be in some type of physical activity, weightlifting, sports, whatever, be somewhat shape, form, or fashion, man. Be in shape, get in shape, But like I was saying, overall, Yahweh Shemel Shai, he's training his hopeful elect. Like I said, and like he's saying through the Spirit, keeping us hungry, keeping us thirsty. All right, because like I was saying, it can be nerve-wracking. We don't know how this is going to play out. All right, it is going to get to a point where, again, brothers are going to be put in positions, believe it or not, to where we may have to take another man's life, and like I said, you can't defend yourself or others if for the most part, if you're not physically fit, and of course it's to the best of our abilities, because, of course, expect no one to be like a Ronnie Coleman, Mr. 8-time Olympia, if you know who he is. But it can be nerve-wracking, like I said, for brothers, especially that have children, families, not knowing how it's going to play out, not, playing out the different scenarios in our mind. But that's why you just get to a point where you just, hey, fuck it. It's in the Lord's hand at the end of the day. And that's why I quoted, again, the just are going to live by faith. All right. But this is what the Lord is training his hopefully elect. He's keeping us hungry, keeping us thirsty. You got to keep your edge, always got to maintain a certain edge, man. Have a certain fire about us, in us. Scriptures talk about serving the Lord in fervency, being fervent for the Lord. And that's why these different trials and tribulations, it's just, the Lord is not allowing us to get comfortable, and as brothers' trials and tribulations are amping up, ramping up, things are getting tougher, tighter, all around the board for brothers. I believe it's because, the Lord's getting ready to shut this thing down, so we damn sure can't get comfortable or complacent, because I said this before, like I said, as far as why it hurts so much, it's hurting more and more. Well, the Lord is putting those final touches up on brothers before the Lord shuts this thing down. The Lord is putting those final touches. It's like when you're painting, drawing or whatever, you know, you always want to, right before you finish the canvas, you always want to put those little final of, finishing touches up before you put it up on display, before you put that signature, you always want to put those last finishing touches, to make that painting beautiful. You want it to be perfect, and being that Yahweh Bashim Shai, he's the potter, we're the clay, the Lord is getting ready to, put the final stamp. He's getting ready to put the final signature on his Picasso, which is his elect. So that's why it hurts. The Lord's getting ready to shut this thing down, and we got to be ready when that time comes. As much as we want to get out of here, I know brothers oftentimes, man, I can't wait. I'm ready. But if we were ready, then it would be happening. Jacob's trouble would be happening right now. So we still got work to do. We still got work to do. So we're not ready yet. But playing on.
Inculcate that into a person after a certain period in their life. You just can't. It's either there or it isn't. When a child is hungry and they can't have that hunger satiated, it puts something in their brain. Okay, it puts something in them that they carry with them for the rest of their life. And you can't buy that. And it's that is going to fuel the will to live and the will to endure in a grid down situation, in a social collapse situation. Or maybe you just lose your job and you end up on the street and street smarts take hold. Your ability to navigate that kind of environment is so critical. And you look at all the greats in any domain, they all had some kind of trauma, some deep-seated. I'm not just talking about, their girlfriend left them or their dad didn't, play with them enough. I'm talking like real trauma. And I don't wish trauma on people. I'm not romanticizing that. And in fact, what I'm saying is more of a controlled trauma. I'm thinking that either you have that hunger, you have that spark, you have that fire inside you longing for more, which will carry you through very difficult situations, or you don't. Period, point blank. There are billionaires in this world who want nothing more when they're on their deathbed to have had more progeny. If you're a person who is struggling to make ends meet, but you have a large family, that's wealth. That really is true wealth. Because think about what a billionaire is trying to do. He's trying to live, right? Everything he surrounds himself with, or she, is all for the purpose of getting some dopamine kick and living to tell the tale for just one more day. That's what it's all about. Suffice it to say, I'm pretty sure even those people who, in their final days, claim that they don't care about people or that that's not a huge priority for them, I'm pretty sure that when a person's on their deathbed, they're thinking about these things regardless, and they wish they would have had more. And this is where I can understand Elon Musk's a drive to repopulate the planet, because he does get that. I'll give him that. He does get that part of all of this, is that it's not about you. And if you think it's about you, you're not going to survive. If you're just doing this just for you, you're not going to survive. There's that final stage of life, using Erickson's development model, is generativity versus stagnation. If you don't become generous and become a beacon of light and somebody to be emulated within your community, somebody to be somebody else's something, then what's the point, right? What's the point?
So you see, because, he's saying a lot through the spirit, and that's one thing I've been meditating on, because, it makes sense more and more. I'm understanding more and more why the Apostle Paul talked about being at a betwixt, as much as he'd rather been in the spiritual realm. He mentioned it was more needful for him to be on earth for the body, for the rest of the believers, because it's bigger than us. And that's why it starts with the elect. They are those pillars. All right. That's why it starts with them first and foremost. And from there, being those beacons of light, from there, the believers are gonna flock to. They're gonna come. So that's why, again, man, the Lord is building his men up on a level, because again, it's gonna take a certain level of cool, calm, and collectiveness when shit hits the fan. And that's why a man of Yahweh Bashim Shai, an elect man, is going to be so precious in that day.
Doing any of this to just wall yourself in and live like a recluse. I mean, that's no way to live life. You have to be a part of something greater. And so the more stuff I accumulate, the more I really ultimately realize is that it's meaningless without people. It truly is meaningless. And as much as I don't like people, and they annoy me a lot, okay, I wouldn't want to be around them 24/7, you still need them. Not just as a human resource, but I'm a person. So for that reason alone, we need people. Now, what I hope people take away from this video, what I wanted to communicate was, it doesn't matter if you don't have money. It matters, but I'm not diminishing that. I'm not trying to be patronizing or being tone deaf to whatever you've experienced, because I assure you I've been there, and obviously everybody is on a different part of the spectrum, but I've been pretty damn far down that spectrum, as far as you can be really in Western society. So most of the people who watch this video will be able to relate, although some of you who might have had their origins in war-torn countries, you've had experiences that, I could never even relate to. So the most important thing, above all else, is your personal experiences. What sort of trials and tribulations have you been through in your life? That's what's going to matter most. And that's what's going to determine if you're able to ration this food, if you're able to manage it without being overrun by an opposing rival community, if you're able to maintain the socio-politics of your community and maintain rule of law and order, if you're able to control your emotions, if you're able to move. Every prepper should want to be in a position in which, if they were to lose everything, they would be all right. That's how you know you're a true survivor and a prepper. If you have everything and you lost it all, this building went up in flames, would I be all right? If I can confidently say yes, then I'm a prepper. If I can't.
But a lot of scriptures come to mind. Ezekiel, where it mentions, bear with me, Ezekiel 7 and 12, the end. The time has come, the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. For the seller shall not return to that which is sold, although they were yet alive. For the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which shall not return, neither shall any strengthen himself in the iniquity of his life. So you see, there's another one in 2nd Esdras. Because this is the attitude, this is the mindset that we have, being the hopeful elect. Being ready to leave it all behind if needs be. Like I said, everyone has, a lot of people, they have plans A through Z. Well, if all hell breaks loose, then we're gonna go to the backup house in the woods. But you don't know if you're gonna make it to the you don't know if you're going to make it to that destination. When all hell breaks loose, it's just when that sudden destruction comes. All right. From there, hey, you don't know what you're going to do. We none of us know what we're going to do. Like I said, you can have a plan A through Z, but, the Lord's plans for you might be different. So that's why we don't have this attitude, this mindset of, hey, now there's nothing wrong with getting you a little extra cases of water or whatever the case, maybe get you some candles or whatever in case the lights go out. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, we know that's not what's going to save us in that day. It also mentions that in 2nd Esdras, matter of fact, let me just get it. 2nd Esdras 16 and 40. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle. So you see, it said make you ready to thy battle, because we don't know how it's going to play out for each and every one of us. Some of us are going to be separated from our families. Like I said, some of us are going to be put in position to where we're going to have to defend and possibly take a life or take lives, whatever the case may be. All right. The Lord has it to where, again, we're hardened. All right. At this point, brothers are just ready for whatever. And, our hope is in the Lord, because that's all we got at the end of the day. Like I said before, you think about certain things and certain scenarios, and it could be worrisome, but you just get to a point where it's just, hey, whatever the Lord's will is, fuck it. It says, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. So you see, and this is what we have this pilgrim type of mindset, just we don't know. It says, he that occupieth, or verse 41, he that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupieth merchandise as he that had no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. So you see, you could read on down, because just the point that, again, You got people talking about, hey, when shit hits the fan, when the money collapses, get into the real estate. Again, all these preppers. I'm gonna grab this. Amos 2. Amos 2 and 15. Amos 2 and 14. Therefore the flight shall perish from the swift, and the strong shall not strengthen his force, neither shall the mighty deliver himself. So all these guys stacking up with food, gun, ammo. All right. It says, neither shall he stand that handleth the bow, and he that is swift of foot shall not deliver himself. Neither shall he that rideth the horse deliver himself. And he that is courageous among the mighty shall flee away naked in that day, saith the Lord. So you see, there's no amount of prepping that you can do physically, carnally, that you can do that's going to deliver you. All right. When it's all said and done, and it's every man for himself. When things get primal, it becomes that dog eat dog world out here. All right. For these people, all logic, all reason is going to go out the door. And that's why, again, the elect man, he's going to stand out. All right. Because hopefully, elect, we're not going to move like these people move. This is just going to be, like you mentioned, that beacon of light. All right. And people are going to see that. Matter of fact, Ezekiel 14. Ezekiel 14 and verse 22. Yet behold, therein shall be left a remnant that shall be brought forth, both sons and daughters. Behold, they shall come forth unto you, and ye. Behold, they shall come forth unto you, and ye shall see their way and their doings, and ye shall be comforted concerning the evil that I have brought upon Jerusalem, even concerning all that I have brought upon it. So when it's all said and done, again, the believers, they're going to flock to these elect men. All right, because they're going to, again, have this cool, calm, and collective state of mind, that self-discipline, and the elect, or excuse me, the remnant, innumerable multitude, they're going to see that, and they're going to flock to these men. Verse 23, and they shall comfort you when ye see their ways and their doings, and ye shall know that I have not done without cause all that I have done in it, saith the Lord power. So as Yahushua is our comforter, he's our, he's our everything, the same concept applies to those elect men and the believers that's going to come. All right. Those elect men, they're going to be those comforters. Slack, bear with me. So as I was saying, the innumerable multitude, they're going to see that cool, calm, and collective state of mind, that discipline. All right. That's why I read that 2 Timothy in the AMP, you know, because we're going to have a sound mind, all right, when it's all said and done, because the Spirit of the Lord is going to be on us, with us. The Spirit of the Lord is going to be our guide.
Then I got work to do. If you have something deeply encoded that is rote and second nature, that is going to be leveraged by your community, that's going to make you invaluable no matter if your house burns down or not. If you're a person who can just maintain their cool under very dire circumstances, that's going to be valuable. I used to work in a place in a mental health setting, and some of the people who could keep their cool the most were the janitors. You know, you really start to see who the real leaders are, right? We've created this artifice of strata, this hierarchy in society where certain people get to the top because they get the best grades in school and they can climb the social ladder and they can impress a lot of people. But when it comes down to crunch time, you might be a manager of a company in a world where the lights are still on and the rule of law is still functioning, but then you turn those lights off and then are you still able to manage those people under those conditions? And based on what I've seen in my 25-year professional career, doing various jobs, some of them, professional in a clinical setting, what I've realized is that never, ever, 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 ever judge a person and their utility on the basis of whether or not they have a degree or something like that. Yes, it's important. It shows commitment. It shows discipline. It shows drive. But that doesn't mean they're going to be able to hold it down when the shit hits the fan. So those are the things you have to value in life. You know how they say the best things in life are free? Well, in prepping, when it boils down to it, it's also true. The most valuable things to a prepper are free. They're what come naturally. Some of these things you have to hone, like your skill set. You have to learn how to manage stress. You have to take care of your body, especially in the era of abundant carbohydrates and saturated fats. But anybody can work out. You don't need a gym membership to work out. You don't need tens of thousands of dollars to go. That's the real trick, right? Oh, you got to go and pay tens of thousands of dollars. What is that Goodwill Hunting quote? You spent $10,000 on an education you could have got for $250 in library fees. Again, guys, I relate to your struggles, but that's also an asset. That's what you need to understand. I look at my kids sometimes and I'm like, man, I got to make things a bit more challenging because I'm not getting you guys ready for the rigors of what's coming. I know it might seem like I'm being disingenuous here. I'm not. When I see children who are struggling, just on that edge of struggling, where they just have enough, but they don't get what they want. You know what I mean? Where they have a little bit, but they're still on some level not completely satiated. I'm like, man, those kids are going to be something someday because they're always going to have that fire, that hunger. And that's a hunger that cannot be put there unless you get it under a certain age. I'm not sure if there's a psychological term, none that I've come across for this particular phenomenon. Some might call it the inferiority complex, which is what drives a lot of great thinkers and inventors. Contrary to popular belief, the inferiority complex is actually what catapults a lot of people into overcompensating and just insane.
So yeah, man, the struggle, like Jake likes to say, the struggle is real. Well, it's an asset. All right, because with the struggle, it develops a certain type of mindset. All right. The Lord keeps us on a fine line. That's why it tells you in Our Father's Prayer, give us this day our daily bread. The Lord gives us just enough to get by, because knowing and understanding that when it's all said and done, none of this shit means anything. And when that time comes, the elect are going to be prepared to leave it all behind. And from there, because I say this all the time, of course it's easier said than done, but I'd rather take my chances with the Lord, whether that be in the woods, whether it be in a concentration camp, wherever, because relying on Esau in this system has never done any of us justice. So I'd rather take my chances with the Lord, Psalm chapter 4 and verse 8, I will both lay me down in peace and sleep, for thou, Yahweh, only makest me dwell in safety. So you see, no matter the situation, man, no matter what we're put through, especially during Jacob's trouble, this is why we're training now. We're in training now, all right? But the training wheels are coming off, all right? You can only, when you're swimming, eventually you got to let go of the ledge and eventually got to get out there. You got to get in the deep end. And more we're coming into that uncharted territory, which is going to require more faith. So, but when that day comes, best believe the elect are going to be ready. All right. And I've said this before too, and I believe this. I say this out of faith. Whatever brothers are lacking on this side, whatever brothers are lacking before all hell breaks loose, I believe this is even before the kingdom, during Jacob's trouble. And again, I speak out of faith. In faith, brothers gonna get more. But brothers are gonna, get it during Jacob's trouble. A lot of brothers don't get sleep. A lot of brothers deal with being sleep deprived. Well, I believe brothers are gonna get more sleep than they've ever gotten in their life during Jacob's trouble. Obviously the women, a lot of brothers are deprived of women. Obviously Isaiah 4:1 is gonna come to place. Whatever the case may be, a brother's gonna be in good comfort, man. The Lord's gonna look out for His elect. We grab this Proverbs 12:25. It says, "Heaviness in the heart of man maketh it stoop, but a good word maketh it glad." Going into this stress, we'll look this up. Bear with me. Look this up. In the NLT, worry weighs a person down. An encouraging word cheers a person up. All right. Because you see, like I said, that stress, man, the Lord constantly reassures us to fret not. Don't worry about nothing. The hairs on our very head are numbered, Our sparling doesn't fall out the tree without the Lord sanctioning it. So the Lord, being that the Lord is involved in every minor detail, down to the smallest molecular level, the Lord is involved. So the Lord's got us, man. He's got us covered, And with that being said, we have nothing to worry about, Get one more in Psalm 48:14. Psalm 48:14. For this power is our power forever and ever. He will be our guide even unto death. So you see, because like it tells you in 2 Ezra 16, this is what it's going to take to be able to, maintain. All right. When it's all said and done, the Spirit of the Lord is going to really have to be on us. It's going to take a special spirit. All right. Which is going to be put on the elect. Because without the Lord, bro, we don't got it, man. We don't got it. 2 Ezra 16:74. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for God is your guide, and the God of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord God. Let not your sins weigh you down, let not your iniquities lift up themselves. So, like it tells you in Hebrews 12, just going into how all the heavy things that's on our mind. It also talks about that in 2 Ezra 14, going into the cares of man, the cares of this life, just all the words of this world, man. Just, just understand that this is all temporary and this shit's about to change real soon. We're not going to be tied down to this system. All right. This burden, man, waking up with these bullshit 9-to-5 jobs to barely make ends meet. All this is about to change. All right. And, it's going to be to our good. It's going to be to our good. The Lord's going to make sure that he's going to cover his elect. The Spirit of Yahweh Shema Shah is going to be on us and navigating through this when, that gross darkness hits, like it talks about in Isaiah 60, the gross darkness to people, when Jacob's trouble is in full effect, the Spirit of the Lord is going to be our guide. So Lord willing, this was edifying, giving all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, Shalom to you, hopefully like.